been waiting for you. You emailed my colleague the other day asking for a kind of meeting to go through our samples of teas. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, she just let me know that you were coming. So she was a little bit vague, and she just said that you're after a bit of a kind of sample, or to just be shown our variety. Is that right? Yeah. And she didn't say what it was for. Is this for kind of getting a gift ready for someone, or is this just something for yourself so you can take a nice selection home? Yeah, it's for yourself. Yeah, that's fine. And were you planning on tasting some today, or you just want to be taught through our variety? Yeah, we can play it by ear, see what happens. So I've got together most of the types of tea that we carry. I was given a little bit of a list with some ingredients that you don't like, so I've left those out, but we have a really, really broad range today. So I don't think we'd have time. I mean, I can be here all day for you, but if you were in a little bit of a rush, then I doubt we can make our way through tasting all of them. But I can start by telling you about the flavours, and you can see what you fancy. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not actually sure exactly how many we have today. I'm just going to count this. 6, 7. 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 22. So we actually have 27 different types of tea today, and as you can see, there is a massive variety of colours, flavours. All of these are completely different. There are some that have kind of overlapping themes or flavours or ingredients. Like there are a few different types that contain mint, but never the same one twice. So yeah, I think I'll just dive straight into talking about the kind of flavours, and then one way that we could do it is if I'm describing a flavour and you like the sound of it and would like me to put it to the side for you, then I can put it in a little box, and we can either, if you don't have many flavours that sound good, then we can get a few together of each of those flavours and make a kind of kit. Or if you decide you like 26 out of 27, then we can work something out for just sampling one each. Or yeah, there's plenty of ways we can do it. You just need to tell me what sounds good for you. And I did leave some things out based on the list that you sent over, but there's such a variety here that obviously some things you might not have heard of, some things you might know that you definitely don't want to give it a go, and some things might sound like your new favourite tea. The first one is one that is kind of a love it or hate it kind of thing. I love it myself, and it's really, really nice on rainy days, days when you're feeling a little bit kind of down. It's not so much of a summer drink, it's more kind of winter warmer, and it's really nice with honey. So this is a star anise with cinnamon, The ingredients are cinnamon bark, ginger root, licorice root, sencha green tea, so it's got a green tea base, star anise and cardamom pod. So I'm sure that you can agree all of those flavours are really kind of warming, and obviously the kind of licorice flavour isn't for everybody, but that sounds like something you'd want to try. Not so sure about it. Maybe we can have a not so sure pile as well. I'm just going to pop that one there. The next one is quite different. It's kind of the complete opposite really. It's really, instead of kind of warming and hearty and kind of heavy, it's really refreshing. So this is lemon and mandarin, and it has lemon verbena as well. So if you can smell that, it's lovely. So lemon verbena is one of my favourite plants. The smell just invigorates you. It's got a lot of ingredients, but all of them, of course, completely natural. Licorice root again, so it's still got that kind of kick to it, but instead of it being a more kind of soothing one, it's a bit more of a kick. It wakes you up. So it has sweet fennel seed as well, orange peel, rose hip, hibiscus flower, lemon balm leaf, lemongrass, lemon verbena leaf, lemon myrtle leaf, lemon whole, a lot of types of lemon, mandarin essential oil and lemon oil essential oil. So it's basically very kind of citrusy with a little bit of a boost. So it's great with honey as well. But it's great if you maybe wake up and you feel a bit kind of sluggish, you need something to really get you going. Maybe as an alternative to coffee even. Is that like something you'd want to try? Yeah. Let's put that to the side. So the next one is a little bit similar in kind of invigorating, waking you up kind of way. But it can also be used completely opposite way. It can be used at night time to help you wind down to sleep. It's really just, it's described perfectly. It's just called cleanse. So it's described as a radiant blend of organic nettle, fennel and peppermint. So obviously those ingredients can be really good for just invigorating you, but like I said, if you're kind of drinking it in the mindset to wake you up, it will do just that. And if you're doing it in the mindset to kind of take the focus off stresses of life and just wind down with, it can do that as well. It actually contains dandelion root as well and aloe vera in a leaf. So this one's just really good. I'm going to probably suggest honey with a lot of these, but obviously you can add sugar if you'd like, or a little bit of lemon with a lot of them, or obviously nothing at all. You don't have to. I've just got a bit of a sweet tooth. But how does that one sound? So sure. It's one of those ones that's, if you try it, it might be your favourite thing, and it might become a kind of daily occurrence. Like there isn't a day that goes by that I don't drink at least one cup of green tea a day. But it is one of those ones that you're not so sure if you need it in your life, but I'll tell you what, I'll throw one of those in no matter what happens. You might come around to it. Okay, the next one is a really interesting flavour. It's elderberry and echinacea, and it has elderflower as well. And it's, I mean, a lot of the packaging is just perfect for describing the flavours that come through. So we can smell that. Yeah. It smells like the colour purple. And this is, obviously you could have this however many times a day or a week or whatever as you'd like, but it is more of a kind of luxurious thing. It's described as a rich organic embrace, tingling with fruity warmth. So I think that this one also has something with a bit of a kick. It's got peppermint, it's got beetroot, it's got licorice root and aniseed again, so a few of these will have those ingredients in. But it's not always something to shy away from. It can just be a little bit more of a boost. And rosehip, orange peel. So this is a bit, it's quite similar to the kind of warming style of the star anise and cinnamon, but instead of it being so kind of mellowing and winter warmer, it's just something that's a bit more luxurious. So it could kind of replace a hot chocolate if you don't feel like having something so kind of creamy. You would try one of those? Okay. Next is Supreme Matcha Green. This is an organic whole leaf of green tea with the finest matcha. So have you ever tried matcha flavoured things before? Yeah, it's a lovely, it's almost kind of creamy, especially if you recognise it from like mochi or kind of candy flavoured with matcha. So yeah, it's just this is another amazing green tea that's got a bit more kind of flavour to it. It's not so kind of flat, and you can really tell the difference when you have a packet of green tea and it's just kind of a cheap one or maybe supermarket own brand, and it kind of has a flat flavour. But with these ones with extra flavours built in with the finest ingredients, it's just a bit more of a treat. Yeah, that's fine, I'll put it to the side. There's plenty more different types of green tea, so if that one doesn't sound too exciting, then I'm sure there'll be others that pop up. In fact, I'll show you sweet vanilla green and mint matcha green. So basically this is really similar, the mint matcha, to the one I just showed you, but obviously it just has a little bit of field mint leaf and spearmint, which is what makes this one really different. So if you like spearmint chewing gums, then this one will be quite nice for you. Yeah, okay. And then the sweet vanilla green, it's exactly how it sounds. A seductively sweet organic melody of soothing vanilla and whole leaf green tea. And this also has a little bit of fennel seed, licorice root and vanilla pod. So that's obviously kind of got those kind of musky undertones and the vanilla with a bit of sweetness. So you might not need honey for this. Yeah, give that a go as well. This one is one that if I had a list of things I'd leave out, I'd probably leave this one out. But obviously, each to their own. There's every flavour can work for everybody, but it is a bit more of a kind of marmitey one. This is turmeric gold. So you probably recognise turmeric from putting it into curries and things. It's another one of those ones that's really warming and not always for everybody. So it's a golden organic blend of finest Indian turmeric, lemon fruit and whole leaf green tea. It also has cardamom pod and lemon vanna tulsi leaf. So it's definitely something different. Not so sure about it. I mean, I can throw it in if you want to give it a go. It's definitely one that you kind of need to be a bit brave to try it. Next is, I'm just going to throw in one of these unless you don't like it, of course, but it's just basically a really, really good blend of Earl Grey. So if you like Earl Grey, yeah, this is just an amazing quality one. Again, you can get kind of cheaper quality stuff, but this one has only the best ingredients. I'll put that one in. I don't think of many people that don't enjoy a bit of Earl Grey when they just want something closer to a regular everyday cup, but with a bit more kind of luxury to it. And this one is similar to the cleanse that I talked about earlier. It's called Detox, but it's different in the way that it's a little bit more warm, but it's still nowhere near as warm as, say, the star anise and cinnamon. You can tell by the white packaging, it's really supposed to just kind of flush you out and invigorate you. So it's quite similar to that. It actually also has celery seed, coriander seed, as well as aniseed, cardamom, fennel seed and licorice root. So it sounds like all of those ingredients are something that will maybe struggle to come together or be really kind of overwhelming, but it works really well, and it's actually surprisingly light and sweet. Okay, give that a go. I have these as often as I can. Okay, so next is Blackcurrant Beauty, and this is really similar to the echinacea and the elderberry one earlier. So it just smells like Vimto almost. So if you've ever actually tried like Verbena or Vimto warmed up, I used to drink it as a kid all the time near Christmas, and it just warms you up after playing out in the snow or coming home from school and it's dark already at 3 p.m. It's lovely. Obviously it's not too heavy, so it's great for summer as well. You might even want to try making it as a tea and then cooling it down and having it as an ice drink with some ice in it, maybe even a little bit of alcohol if you want to kind of take it that way. So it's got rosehip, hibiscus flower, licorice root, fennel seed, orange peel, beetroot, which is really interesting, blackcurrant fruit, and some natural flavours including orange. Yeah, this one's really, really nice. It's lovely. It's described as deliciously deep purple organic fruits to help you glow inside and out. So I've still got a lot to go through. So I'll just put those ones that you've kind of put in the reed powder to the side and bring all these over. So I'll just go through another couple of cinnamon ones. In fact, here's 3 that go quite well together. So the licorice and cinnamon is described as a luxuriously sweet organic treasure gilded with golden spice. So it's got kind of all the ingredients that you're used to hearing now. It's got licorice root, cardamom pulp, cinnamon bark, sweet fennel seed, but then the chicory root has been roasted in this one, which I think gives it a kind of smokiness. And it's also got cocoa bean shell, so this one's really luxurious. That one sounds interesting. Yeah, the cocoa bean usually kind of adds something for people. And then the 3 licorice and 3 cinnamon, so it just has 3 different types in each one. So the cinnamon, the types of cinnamon come from India, Indonesia and Vietnam. And with the licorice, it's Kazakhstan, Pakistan and Egypt. So it's basically just similar to, like I said, your everyday kind of versions of these teas, but just a little bit more kind of special. And I'm not sure part. That's fine. So I'll add those there. And we have around 13 left to go through. So now this one, the packet would suggest it's not for everybody, but it might be. I don't think that a particular type of tea can really be for one particular gender, unless obviously it's something to do with hormones added in or something. But this one's called Womankind, and it describes a delicate dance, as opposed to a night in the tool shed. Maybe we'll bring out a mankind one day, of organic cranberry, rose and sweet vanilla. And it's got a lot of other flavours in as well. Shatavari root, chamomile flower, marigold flower, orange peel. So yeah, this one's just, it's really, really lovely. It's not too kind of light and flavourless. It's got a lot of flavour in it, but again, it's not overwhelming at all. With most of these, as long as you brew it right, and that usually means around 2 minutes, then it can just be the best cup of tea ever. If you do decide to take several of one or whatever, I can talk you more through how to brew them, each in their own way, to get it like spot on. And if you do buy whole packs of them, then they'll come with instructions on how to do that as well. So for example, with a lot of green teas, it's best to have the tea boiled and then let the temperature come down a little bit so it doesn't kind of kill off some of the flavour, and then not to let it brew for longer than maybe 2 minutes. But then with some teas, they're best when you really let them kind of take in all of the flavour inside the packets, and that can take as long as 5 or 6 minutes. This one, it's not the one you can get wrong, but it's really nice when you leave it in for a few minutes and all those flavours kind of come together in a really rich way. Yeah, you want to try that? So next is, we have a few more green teas to go through. So I've got Serene Jasmine Green. So this has organic green jasmine tea, chamomile and lavender. So this would be really, really nice for kind of winding down towards the end of the day, or if you feel a little bit stressed but you perhaps don't need something really kind of soothing or really refreshing, just a nice balance of the two. And as expected, it always has what it promises you and then a whole lot more. This time it has lime flower, elderflower, marigold flower, rose. Yeah, you want to try that one? There's so many different types of green tea, it can be hard to kind of judge what will be right for you and what you aren't really that fussed about, but I think it's best to just have a little go anyway. Next we have another cinnamon tea. This time it's wild apple and cinnamon. So it smells really different to any of the cinnamon teas so far. Yeah, it's even though it has ginger as well, and cardamom, it also has things like orange peel, clove, orange, essential oil. So it's kind of got all of these different flavours coming in from all different angles. So it's another that's not too heavy, but a little bit refreshing. The apple is really interesting. Again, I've mentioned honey a lot, but particularly with the apple, it goes really, really well. Just a little drop is all you need. Next is I'm going to try to get them as kind of far apart from each other as I can, so then you won't get so bored of hearing all of the green teas in a row and then all of these in a row. It's nice when you hear the variety, because then when one stands out to you, that's when you know that that's one that you want to give a real go. So after that one, I think we'll go for something like 3 tulsi. So this is quite similar to the elderberry and to the womankind one. Nice pink packet. And so this is described as a sacred organic blend flowering with vibrant clarity. So this is similar to the cinnamon and the licorice, where you have 3 different types of the same ingredient from different places. So you have green Rama tulsi leaf, being the main kind of focus of this tea, equally with purple Krishna tulsi leaf, and then a little bit of lemon vana tulsi leaf as well, to kind of give it a little bit of a kick. But this is just really, really kind of fruity and warm, but it's basically one that you'd expect to have a lot more ingredients because it's got such a strong flavour. And like I said, the colour of the packets usually really describe to you what the flavour is actually like. And as I was just saying, on the back of this one, it actually describes to you the best way to keep the herbs alive and at their best. So this one you need to simmer or keep brewing for at least 5 minutes, and that gets all the flavours really coming out. Yeah, not many people turn that one down just because it's so kind of interesting sounding, but with nothing too kind of quirky to throw you off. So next I think we'll go for on the other kind of spectrum. Go for nighttime. So this is, if you've ever had chamomile and honey tea or just chamomile, this is so kind of just calming and soothing. It feels almost kind of like when someone is brushing their fingers through your hair, and you can't help but just kind of sink down and feel kind of warm and fuzzy and ready for bed. This is exactly like that. So it's described as a dreamy bed of organic oat flower, lavender and lime flower, and of course it also has licorice root, a little bit, chamomile, valerian root, and also a little bit of green Rama tulsi leaf. And this is best brewed for 5 minutes as well. But that one's, yeah, it's lovely. And I don't think that there's been any so far that have suggested that you need to add milk to, or that it suggested you add milk to. With Earl Grey I add milk, but yeah, just making sure that most of these, they have enough flavour to them. Yeah, you definitely don't need to add any of that. Although with 2 of the remaining ones, you can add milk. So, for example, with vanilla chai. So it's really similar to Earl Grey. It's kind of like a cross between a cinnamon kind of warming tea and Earl Grey, so it has a lot of kind of smoky flavours coming together. And it also has ginger root, fennel seed, vanilla pod. So yeah, it's just more kind of creamy almost, especially with the addition of milk. I find that works very well. Yep, I'm going to go like it. It's good, it's not too many you're toning down. It's nice to be kind of open, because you might be surprised by one of the ones that you don't like. Well, that you think that you don't like. And another one that you can add milk to if you choose is a rooibos tea with honey bush, and it's very kind of earthy and smoky again almost, and it also has some licorice as well. So there's not many that don't have licorice, so even if you're someone that thinks you don't like licorice, a lot of our teas have them kind of slipped in, and you might not notice it because they manage to kind of blend the flavours together so well that it's just the right amount of everything and nothing's too overwhelming. It's a nice kind of delicate scent coming through with that. Yeah. Okay. So just got 3 left now. And then we can always come back to the ones that are in your maybe and no piles. So, first of all, we have chamomile, vanilla and manuka honey. So this is just basically exactly how I described the chamomile one earlier, which was the nighttime tea. But the vanilla and the addition of manuka honey, which a lot of people say is the kind of purest, most kind of perfect honey that you can get, as well as the ingredients like fennel seed, licorice root. It's described as good news for inner peace and a soothing dip in an organic pool of calm. And I think that describes it perfectly. Just really kind of relaxing, but oddly, I think with this one there's just like the right amount of kind of interesting kick to it. I wouldn't really say kick, I won't go that far. It's still something that you could probably fall asleep with, but it's a bit more kind of cleansing rather than soothing. Talk you through. We have 3 more types of tea where there are 3 of the ingredients. So that's cinnamon, licorice, tulsi leaf, and then these 3 where you just have the same ingredient in different forms. So there's fennel, chamomile, and mint. So obviously you know what those ones are like. So with the fennel, you just have sweet, bitter, and just regular fennel leaf. Sweet is the kind of leading one in this, but the bitter kind of really helps to kind of offset it so it's not too overwhelming, and then you can obviously choose to make it sweeter with any addition of your own. Egyptian, Croatian and Hungarian variations of the chamomile flower. Mainly the Egyptian chamomile flower make up the 3 chamomile. So this actually has no other ingredients, so if you did try the other chamomile versions that we have and you did find that the kind of combinations of licorice and other types of root and ingredients added into it weren't for you, then but you still want something that's kind of soothing but in a more kind of pure way without those unusual ingredients, then this one should be perfect for you. And how did the fennel sound? You're not so sure? That's fine. And 3 mint. This one, I think I'm also going to just throw one of these into the packet as well, because unless of course you hate the sound of it, but it has peppermint, spearmint and field mint. So all of those different types of flavours really do come through, and you can kind of smell through the packet how there isn't a single flavour there that's kind of overwhelming. And yeah, it's just really, really good mix. So the spearmint helps to, I think softens it a little bit. It makes it less kind of punchy and adds a little bit of kind of sweetness. Yeah, you want to try that? So there's just 2 left now. So similar to the Supreme Matcha Green, you put that in the no pile and it sounds very similar to this one. I think the only difference actually is that this one has a little bit more kind of lemony flavour, but it still has the sweet fennel seed, lemon myrtle leaf, matcha powder. So it's kind of the same as the Supreme Matcha, but just with a slightly different kind of flavour to it, a little bit more citrusy than just purely green. You think you're going to give both of them a go? Yeah, to be honest, I think that I'd probably throw at least one of most of these in anyway, just because even if it can kind of give us a little bit of a loss, I want everyone to try a bit of everything, because people can really surprise themselves. Like, you change your mind about that so suddenly, so it'd be a shame if you went home and decided that you had given that 3 licorice or that 3 cinnamon a go. So the final one that I want to show you is something it's going to sound quite similar to a lot of the other ones, with a combination of flavours. This one's called After Dinner, and as you can see it looks a bit like a dairy milk bar. Unfortunately this one doesn't have any cocoa in it, but so it has the roasted chicory root again, the aniseed, the fennel seed, sweet fennel seed this time, licorice root, cardamom pod, orange peel and ginger root. So obviously a lot of those ingredients you've heard before and in a lot of kind of similar combinations. But I think that the best way to kind of describe it is, I think that we do a really good kind of job of blending the ingredients in different ways. So for example, the chicory root in this one is roasted, and that makes about 1/4 of this tea bag, whereas there's only a little bit of cardamom pod orange peel and ginger root, just tiny little touches. So, and then about 20% aniseed and 20% sweet fennel seed. So obviously, if, for example, the main ingredient in this was the licorice root instead, and there was just a little bit of sweet fennel seed, that would make such a different kind of flavour. So this one's really, really good. It's described as after dinner, and I think it's just a nice kind of palate cleanser. And this actually suggests drinking this instead of coffee after a meal. I've never actually done that myself, but I can imagine it'd be really nice after a meal. Usually I feel a bit too kind of full because I don't know when to stop. But I think that it's definitely good for around that kind of time of day at least. Like just getting into the evening. It's probably not so good for maybe middle of the work day, but everything has its own time. How does that sound? I can throw one of everything in, and what we can do is you can make a note of which ones you liked, maybe keep track of all of it and make notes of what it is that you don't like, so you know not to kind of drink teas, because we have a whole like bigger range than this, but we can keep an eye on which kind of combinations of ingredients and which kind of amounts of ingredients you don't seem to gel so well with, and the ones that you really like, we can start looking at setting up kind of maybe subscriptions or whole boxes of those types, or as I've described, we do a service where we can choose maybe say 30 tea bags, and you decide that you want to get a new set of 30 every month, and we can help kind of refine that for you, and you can either actually choose 30 exact tea bags, so you might say that you want, for example, you may want 29 nighttime teas and 1 sweet matcha green, clean matcha green, or you might say kind of 1 of each and then 10 of whatever I want to throw in myself, or we can just make it a complete surprise for you. But for now, I'll just let you take these home, and you can just try them in your own time. You don't have to say, okay, for breakfast I'm going to have my toast and I'm going to pair it with what would be good at breakfast. Definitely not after dinner. My supreme matcha green, and then at lunchtime I'll have some licorice to invigorate me, and then some after dinner. You don't need to do that, but obviously there are kind of times and situations and kind of feelings and everything that work better with different types of teas. So just take them as they come, and just keep an eye on which ones you like and you want to have more of, and we can start to work something out. How does that sound? Okay. So let's throw these ones in. And actually, you seem to really like one of those. I'll just throw a couple of extras in of the ones that you definitely, your eyes like lit up when I described the ingredients. And if you like them, then have a spare one to get you through this kind of transition period. So just package that for you. Okay, and that's all ready. And that's your few months if you want to kind of draw it out, or a few days if you're a tea maniac. So yeah, I'll leave you to take your time trying these, and I hope that they all work well for you. Obviously some might not be your favourites, but I really hope that you find some new kind of combinations and flavours and experiences with these teas, and that you find some new favourites. Okay. Thank you for coming today.